cost of upgrading electrical service from 100 amps to 400 amps can vary widely depending on several factors. Firstly, location and availability of utility infrastructure is a key factor. Secondly, the distance and complexity of trenching and wiring affects cost. Thirdly, permitting and inspection fees contribute to the overall expense. Finally, labor costs play a significant role. As a general estimate, the cost for such an upgrade can range from $2,500 to $10,000. $5,000 is a reasonable estimate for most areas. Utility companies typically charge connection fees for new or upgraded service. These fees can range from $50 to $500, depending on the utility and the extent of the work involved. $75 is a reasonable estimate for a simple upgrade. The poster who claimed the cost would be $2,500 is likely underestimating the expenses involved, especially if the distance from the main transformer to the house is significant. The $75 estimate for the utility connection fee is also low, but it's possible that the utility offers rebates or incentives for upgrades that improve energy efficiency. It's important to contact both the utility company and a licensed electrician for accurate pricing and information about the specific requirements and costs for upgrading the electric service. An electric instantaneous water heater typically requires a 400 amp service for proper operation. Using it with a lower amperage service can result in overheating, damage to the heater, and potential safety hazards. Electrical service upgrades involve several components and considerations. The first is the service entrance cable. This is the cable that runs from the utility's transformer to the service panel inside the building. Upgrading the service often requires replacing this cable with a larger gauge wire to handle the increased amperage. The size of the wire depends on the amperage rating and the distance it needs to run. Consult the National Electrical Code, specifically Table 310.16, for appropriate wire sizes based on ampacity and insulation type. Next is the electrical panel. The existing 100 amp panel will need to be replaced with a 400 amp panel. This panel will have a main breaker rated for 400 amps and sufficient spaces for branch circuit breakers to distribute power throughout the building. Ensure the panel is properly rated for the voltage and available fault current at the service entrance. Grounding is also an important aspect. Proper grounding ensures safety and helps protect against electrical shock. The grounding system must be upgraded to meet the requirements for a 400 amp service. This includes grounding electrodes, grounding electrode conductors, and bonding of metallic components. Refer to NEC Article 250 for detailed grounding requirements. The meter socket is the point where the utility company connects its wires to the building's electrical system. This socket may need to be upgraded to handle the higher amperage. Coordinate with the utility company to ensure the meter socket meets their specifications. Overcurrent protection is also required. This includes circuit breakers or fuses to protect the wiring and equipment from overloads and short circuits. The 400 amp main breaker in the service panel provides the primary overcurrent protection for the entire service. Branch circuit breakers protect individual circuits throughout the building. Another consideration is the demand load calculation. Before upgrading the service, it's essential to calculate the building's total electrical demand. This calculation takes into account all the electrical loads in the building, including lighting, appliances, heating, and cooling equipment. The calculated demand load will determine the appropriate size of the service upgrade. Permitting and inspections are mandatory. Electrical work typically requires permits from the local building department. These permits ensure that the work is done in accordance with the electrical code and safety standards. Inspections are performed by qualified electrical inspectors to verify that the installation meets the code requirements. Coordination with the utility company is crucial. The utility company needs to be involved in the upgrade process to disconnect and reconnect the power supply. They may also have specific requirements for the service entrance equipment and metering. Schedule the upgrade work with the utility company to minimize any disruption to the power supply. Also, trenching may be required. If the service entrance cable is buried underground, trenching may be necessary to install the new cable. The depth and routing of the trench must comply with local codes and utility company requirements. Backfilling and restoration of the ground surface are also part of the trenching process. Surge protection is another key aspect. A surge protective device, or SPD, can help protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges and spikes. Installing an SPD at the service entrance can provide whole house surge protection. Labor costs can vary depending on the complexity of the job and the prevailing rates in the area. Obtain quotes from several licensed electricians to compare pricing and ensure you're getting a fair price. Factors that affect labor costs include the distance of the wire run, the difficulty of the installation, and the need for specialized equipment. Material costs will also vary depending on the quality and type of equipment used. High-quality materials may cost more upfront but can provide better performance and longer lifespan. Obtain a detailed breakdown of the material costs from the electrician. The NEC is the National Electrical Code. This is a widely adopted standard for safe electrical installations. The NEC provides detailed requirements for wiring, equipment, and grounding. Ensure that all electrical work complies with the latest edition of the NEC. Licensed electricians are professionals who have completed the necessary training and passed an examination to demonstrate their knowledge of electrical codes and safety practices. Hiring a licensed electrician ensures that the work is done safely and correctly. A home inspection is an assessment of the condition of a property typically performed before buying or selling a home. A home inspection can identify potential electrical problems such as outdated wiring, faulty outlets, or safety hazards. Rectifying these issues can improve the safety and value of the home. Electric water heaters come in two main types: tank and tankless. Tank water heaters store a supply of hot water in a tank, while tankless water heaters heat water on demand. Tankless water heaters are more energy efficient but require a larger electrical service. Energy efficiency is using less energy to perform the same task. Energy-efficient appliances and lighting can reduce energy consumption and lower utility bills. Upgrading to energy-efficient equipment can also qualify for rebates and incentives from utility companies. Consider the size of the water heater. The size of the water heater should be appropriate for the size of the household and the amount of hot water needed. A larger household will require a larger water heater. A smaller household can get by with a smaller water heater. Consider the energy factor of the water heater. The energy factor is a measure of how efficiently the water heater converts energy into hot water. A higher energy factor indicates a more efficient water heater. Look for water heaters with a high energy factor to save on energy costs. Consider the first I rating of the water heater. The first IR rating is the amount of hot water that the water heater can deliver in the first hour of use. This rating is important for households that use a lot of hot water at once. Look for water heaters with a first IR rating that meet your needs. Electric instantaneous water heaters, also known as tankless water heaters, heat water only when it is needed, providing a continuous supply of hot water without the need for a storage tank. This can be more energy efficient than traditional tank water heaters, as there is no standby heat loss. However, they require a significant amount of electrical power to operate, often necessitating a service upgrade to 400 amps or more. The specific electrical requirements will depend on the size and flow rate of the water heater. A 400 amp service provides a larger capacity for electrical power, allowing you to run multiple high-demand appliances without overloading the system. This is especially important for homes with electric heating, air conditioning, and other power-intensive devices. Upgrading to a 400 amp service ensures that you have sufficient power to meet your needs safely and reliably. Safety is paramount when working with electricity. Always turn off the power at the main breaker before working on any electrical circuits. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. Electrical codes are designed to ensure the safety of electrical installations. These codes are based on industry best practices and are regularly updated to reflect new technologies and safety standards. Following electrical codes is essential to prevent electrical fires, shocks, and other hazards. Contact your local building department for information on the electrical codes in your area. Building codes are regulations that govern the construction and renovation of buildings. These codes cover a wide range of topics, including electrical, plumbing, mechanical, and structural systems. Building codes are designed to ensure the safety and accessibility of buildings. Contact your local building department for information on the building codes in your area. Homeowners insurance provides financial protection against damage to your home and personal property. Most homeowners insurance policies cover electrical damage caused by fire, lightning, or other covered perils. Review your policy to understand the extent of your coverage. A licensed electrician is a professional who has met the requirements for licensure in their state or jurisdiction. These requirements typically include completing an apprenticeship, passing an examination, and maintaining continuing education. Hiring a licensed electrician ensures that the work is done by a qualified professional who is knowledgeable about electrical codes and safety practices. The electrical service is the connection between the utility's electrical grid and your home's electrical system. This connection includes the service entrance cable, meter, and service panel. The electrical service is responsible for delivering power to your home. A service upgrade involves replacing the existing electrical service with a larger capacity service. This may be necessary to accommodate increased electrical demand, such as from a new appliance or an addition to the home. A service upgrade typically requires permits and inspections. The electrical panel, also known as a breaker box, is the central distribution point for electricity in your home. The electrical panel contains circuit breakers that protect individual circuits from overloads. A service panel upgrade involves replacing the existing electrical panel with a larger capacity panel. This may be necessary to accommodate increased electrical demand or to replace an outdated panel. The electrical wiring is the system of wires that carries electricity throughout your home. The electrical wiring must be properly sized and installed to ensure safety and reliability. Outdated or damaged wiring can be a fire hazard. An electrical inspection is an assessment of the condition of your home's electrical system. An electrical inspection can identify potential safety hazards and code violations. It is recommended to have an electrical inspection performed when buying or selling a home, or if you have any concerns about the safety of your electrical system. Electrical safety is a top priority. Always follow safe electrical practices to prevent electrical shocks and fires. Never overload circuits, use damaged electrical codes, or work on electrical equipment while it is energized. If you have any questions about electrical safety, consult a qualified electrician. Remember, upgrading your electrical service is a significant investment. It's crucial to get multiple quotes, understand the scope of the work involved, and ensure the contractor is licensed and insured. A properly upgraded electrical service will provide you with the power you need safely and reliably for years to come. Consider the long-term benefits of upgrading your electrical service. A larger electrical service can increase the value of your home, make it more attractive to potential buyers, and provide you with the peace of mind knowing that your electrical system is safe and reliable. If you are planning to install an electric vehicle charger, you may need to upgrade your electrical service to accommodate the additional load. Electric vehicle chargers can draw a significant amount of power, especially level 2 chargers. Consult with an electrician to determine the appropriate size of the service upgrade. Also, consider the future electrical needs of your home. If you are planning to add any new appliances, equipment, or additions to your home, you may need to upgrade your electrical service to accommodate the increased demand. Planning ahead can save you money and hassle in the long run. Remember to factor in the cost of permits and inspections. Permits are required for most electrical work, and inspections are necessary to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. The cost of permits and inspections can vary depending on your location. Also, consider the disruption to your home during the upgrade process. Upgrading your electrical service can be disruptive, especially if trenching is required. Plan ahead and make arrangements to minimize the disruption to your daily life. Once the upgrade is complete, be sure to have the electrician explain the new system to you and show you how to operate it safely. This includes the location of the main breaker and the branch circuit breakers. Keep the electrical panel accessible and free of obstructions. Do not store anything in front of the electrical panel that could block access in an emergency. Regularly inspect your electrical system for any signs of damage or wear. This includes checking for frayed wires, cracked outlets, and loose connections. If you notice any problems, contact a qualified electrician to have them repaired. Be aware of the signs of an overloaded circuit. These signs include flickering lights, warm outlets, and circuit breakers that trip frequently. If you experience any of these signs, reduce the load on the circuit or have an electrician inspect it. Use surge protectors to protect your electronic equipment from voltage spikes. Surge protectors can help prevent damage to your computers, televisions, and other sensitive electronic devices. Replace any damaged electrical cords or extension cords immediately. Damaged cords can be a fire hazard. Never run electrical cords under rugs or carpets. This can trap heat and cause a fire. Be careful when using electrical appliances near water. Water is a conductor of electricity and can cause a shock. Never use electrical appliances in the bathtub or shower. If you are working outdoors, be aware of overhead power lines. Keep ladders, tools, and other equipment away from power lines. Contact the utility company if you need to work near power lines. Always call a qualified electrician for any electrical work that you are not comfortable doing yourself. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by someone who is trained and experienced. Upgrading an electrical service from 100 amps to 400 amps is a complex process that requires careful planning and execution. It's essential to work with qualified professionals and follow all applicable codes and safety standards to ensure a safe and reliable installation. This comprehensive overview should provide a solid understanding of the factors involved in upgrading an electrical service and help to make informed decisions. Remember to consult with licensed electricians in your local utility company for specific guidance tailored to your situation. Finally, remember that safety is always the most important consideration when working with electricity. If you are not comfortable performing any electrical work yourself, always hire a qualified electrician.